Star Trek, the animated series canon status explained. When most fans think of Star Trek, the mind immediately conjures images of the live-action adventures of the original crew. Captain Kirk commanding the Enterprise, Spock's logical brilliance, and McCoy's sarcastic charm. But nestled in the early 1970s, between the end of the original series TOS and the rise of the next generation TNG, there exists a lesser-known chapter in the franchise, Star Trek, the animated series TAS. Despite being animated, often dismissed as a children's show, and frequently overlooked in discussions of Star Trek canon, TAS holds a peculiar place in the franchise's continuity, and its impact on the larger Star Trek universe deserves a closer examination. The origins of the animated series. After TOS ended in 1969, Star Trek fans were clamoring for more adventures. The franchise seemed dead, but thanks to the growing popularity of Saturday morning cartoons and the determination of Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek, the animated series premiered in 1973. TAS ran for 2 seasons, producing 22 episodes that allowed the original crew to continue their missions beyond the limitations of a live-action budget. The animated format had significant advantages. No longer constrained by live-action effects, TAS could feature alien worlds, dangerous creatures, and space phenomena that would have been impossible on a 1960s television budget. From giant interstellar amoebas to intense planetary storms, the animation opened doors for storytelling that TOS could only dream of. In many ways, TAS explored ideas that would eventually become cornerstones in Star Trek lore. Canon or not canon? The debate? This is where things get tricky. For decades, fans and even some Star Trek writers debated whether TAS should be considered canonical, officially part of the Star Trek universe's continuity. On one hand, TAS featured the original voice cast, including William Shatner as Kirk, Leonard Nimoy as Spock, and DeForest Kelley as McCoy, giving it a direct link to TOS. On the other hand, being animated led many to dismiss it as mere novelty or a kid's show, with storytelling liberties that seemed inconsistent with TOS. Roddenberry himself had a complicated relationship with TAS. He contributed scripts and consulted on episodes, yet he didn't treat the show with the same seriousness as live-action Star Trek. Over the years, his stance appeared to evolve, as he seemed more willing to embrace TAS as canon when later writers drew on it for continuity purposes. A turning point in the canonical debate came with the publication of Star Trek, The Next Generation, and its expanded universe of novels, comics, and technical manuals. TAS stories were frequently referenced as precedent for alien species, technology, and historical events in the Star Trek timeline. For example, TAS introduced the concept of the first Romulan-Spock encounter, expanded the Klingon backstory, and even depicted Spock's famous Ponfar in episodes like The Infinite Vulcan, which later served as inspiration for TNG narratives. Contributions to Star Trek lore. Despite being dismissed for years, TAS actually enriched Star Trek canon in several meaningful ways. It introduced alien races such as the Andromedans, Gorn variations, and Acacians, some of which later appeared in live-action spin-offs. It also fleshed out lore around Starfleet operations, interstellar diplomacy, and futuristic technology, including warp drive and transporter variations. One of TAS's greatest contributions lies in its expansion of Vulcan culture. Episodes such as Yesteryear are frequently hailed as some of the most emotionally resonant Star Trek stories ever told, exploring Spock's childhood and the formative experiences that shaped him. This episode, in particular, has been referenced in official continuity, cementing TAS's influence. Moreover, TAS preserved the original actors' performances. While many animated adaptations suffer from inconsistent voice work, TAS retained the essence of the original characters, providing a bridge for fans between the end of TOS and the eventual return to live action with Star Trek, the motion picture in 1979. Modern perspectives on TAS. Today, Star Trek fans and creators tend to view TAS more favorably. The animated format is no longer automatically disqualifying, as animation is now a respected medium for adult storytelling, demonstrated by series like Star Wars, The Clone Wars, or Arcane. Many contemporary writers and fans treat TAS episodes as part of the broader Star Trek timeline, particularly when they do not contradict established live-action canon. The release of TAS on streaming platforms has also introduced it to new generations, allowing fans to see firsthand the creativity, storytelling ambition, and character exploration that made the show remarkable. While it may never achieve the same cultural reverence as TOS or TNG, TAS has carved out a unique niche as both a historical artifact and a valid extension of the Star Trek universe.